Hi, I'm Douglas McCoy, and I'm excited to share with you a little story that has changed my life. Just one of the success stories of my life. You know, a lot of people want to be happy, and the motto, or the little thing about our happiness in my business, is spelt with double A. That stands for attitude and action. So the attitude, I believe that you can get anything you want in life with the right attitude, and you put that into action. You know, a lot of people are miserable every day, and we verbalize that. This morning, actually, I was on the way up here to Harvey Bay to do a seminar, and my friend Rajan and I we got out and went into a petrol station to get something to eat. And I said to a guy that was walking along beside me, I said, "How's your day?" He said, "Horrible. It's a terrible day." My goodness. People start their days with this kind of thought. You know, I heard a guy say once about his wife. He said, "It's really hard to kiss the mouth of the woman that's bagging me out all day." So be careful what's coming out of your mouth, because it's affecting the rest of your life. And don't be that woman, please. Anyway, you know, affirmations and visualization and auto-suggestions can change your life. I didn't know much about these things, and when I was in England for 2 years, I ran into a guy named Guy Whitworth. And Guy Whitworth was from South Pasadena. He was a fullback for South Pasadena Gridiron team, American football. And I'd been a football player back in Australia, and I was a fullback for St. George. And so we met in London together, and he told me about affirmations and visualizations and auto-suggestions that he'd learned from a gentleman named Dr. William Tanner, who was his girlfriend's father. And so I got his CDs and started listening to him. It's the best information I've ever heard about how the mind works and how to attract wealth and how to attract whatever you want in life. Write it down. Whatever you can conceive and believe, you can achieve, as Henry Ford taught us. Now, so I started to get into these affirmations and visualizations and learn a lot about it. I can tell you story after story after story. But what I want to tell you is a story that affected my life wealth-wise. As a young fellow, I'd been off in England. I came back and I got into sales and so on. And at this stage in my life, I had become the national sales manager for rebounders, mini trampolines. I'd brought the first trampolines in from Las Vegas that had come to Australia, and I started marketing them. Within a matter of months, I had over 6,000 salespeople selling our rebounders for us, all throughout Australia and New Zealand. The doctors and chiropractors and physiotherapists, kinesiologists, all the natural health people were all selling these rebounders. And so we were doing great. We were selling these rebounds back in 1980 at around $280 a unit. And that was before the cheap Taiwanese ones came in and so on, and I thought that ruined the business, but it didn't, because we brought out better ones, and of course it's all to do with the bounce. So we've got the Rolls Royce. But as a sales manager of this company that was selling all these rebounders all over the country, I was doing very well. I was only 25. I'd already bought 2 houses at that stage, and I had a guy come around and was trying to sell me on the reason I should have fire alarms in my house. Well, I didn't know anything about fire alarms, never seen anyone that needed any, but I decided that I would install these fire alarms to protect my wife and future kids. And so I had a 5-bedroom house at the time, beautiful home there in Sydney. And when the guy finished his sales presentation, I said to him, "How are you selling these? This is a great idea." He said, "Well, there's 5 of us." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "What about all over Australia?" He said, "There's 5 of us." I said, "Come on, how are you going to sell all the people in Australia? I've never heard of people selling fire alarms. You've only got 5 people selling all over Australia." I said, I've got some marketing ideas. Let me talk to your boss." So the next day he came to install the alarms after the finance had all gone through, and he said, "No, the boss isn't interested, and he's making all the money he wants." Well, you know, I didn't know anyone that was making all the money they wanted. And so I thought, wow, this must be a good business. And so I decided to contact America, to the suppliers. And I spoke to them over there, and they said yes. And they said, "We've got a label for you." And the opposition that I bought was MasterCard. They were giving me the rights to a product called Vanguard by Figure International, the world's largest manufacturer of fire safety and security equipment. So I decided to buy these alarms. I ordered 100 units at that time. And the next day they called me up after taking the order and saying, "Sorry, Mr. McCoy, we actually have a distributor in Australia. We didn't realize we've already signed contracts. You need to buy off him." So I humbled myself and bought from this guy. And every week he'd call me up and say, how are you getting on with the sales? And I, being a cocky young Aussie, wasn't that interested in answering to him very much, because he was trying to dictate to me. And he'd say, how many sales you made this week? I'd say, none of your business. He says, yes, I'm your supplier. And he'd say, how many salespeople you got? And he'd ask me all the questions I should have been asking myself, or I should have paid a guy to ask me. But anyway, I answered his questions occasionally, and even though I was a bit frustrated with that idea. But I sold so many alarms this way by hiring direct salespeople, teaching them how to sell. And I'd recruit people that knew nothing about sales. In 1 week I'd train them, turn them out, and they'd become great salespeople selling these fire alarms door to door, thousands of dollars a unit, and that was after them having no experience. But it wasn't too long before this guy, being greedy, started advertising, and one of my salespeople came to me and said, Doug, have you seen this ad in the paper? He's advertised that the supplier of Self-Reliance that's turned over $500,000 within their first year of being in business is now looking for other distributors. I got ticked off. I sent the advertisement to America, and they were very upset, and so they released that guy his rights, and I got the rights. And then I didn't only get the rights to Australia, I started selling so many, I got the rights to New Zealand and the rights to the UK, which none of the other distributors in the world had any rights to more than an area, let alone all of these different countries. So I became their top distributor, and I was a guest speaker in Las Vegas and in New Orleans and in Texas and so on, and in Los Angeles, and of course I set up distributors around the world. Now, the reason I'm telling you this story is because I started in my garage, started this business. And I had no idea how to sell these things. I'd just been sold one system. And I started in my garage, and when I got started there, I set some goals for myself, which is number one, if you're going to do anything, set a goal, get some pictures, and then write affirmations, positive suggestions in the now sense as if you've already obtained them. And then start visualizing the things you're going to. So I got my goal book and got pictures of what I wanted and so on. But the affirmation I did, I actually got checks printed by the bank with my logo on them. So they were my banks. So when I paid my salespeople, they got checks from my company with my logo and all that kind of stuff. And so I got one of these checks, and I wrote to my wife that I was giving her $8,896,000 was what we were going to make out of this business that we just started in our garage. I knew nothing about. Then I wrote another one to my accountant that I was going to make $8,896,000, gave a check to my accountant and said, this is how much I'm going to make in this business. A brand new business. Then I wrote another one there and gave it to a guy that was going to set up as my general manager. It says, that's how much, $8,896,000 I'm going to make in this business. And I wrote a check out the same, $8,896,000, slipped it under the glass on my desk. And so every day I'd look at that and think I'm going to make $8,896,000. I then started running these salespeople all over the country, and I give them consignment stock. Then I decided to improve on that by franchising, and I franchised all over Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. So I had distributors all over the world at night time selling my alarms for me, making money. And I was making over $11 million a year in the 80s. Selling fire alarms door to door. Then I expanded that to burglar alarms and intercom systems and electronic gates and all that kind of stuff. It was the biggest security franchise in Australia. This is starting franchises back when McDonald's and KFC were just about the only franchises, and Jim's Mowing's down in Melbourne, and my security systems there. Not only that, I set up my own oppositions. So I didn't only have my own company, but I set up my own oppositions because there wasn't that many people in the security business. But the reason I tell you the story is I went from my garage with no experience selling fire alarms, and by setting these affirmations, this affirmation, I'm going to make $8,896,000 in this business, not even having a clue what to do in the business. And sure enough, I built the business up to making over $11 million a year. So what I'm telling you is that if you can write affirmations, positive suggestions to your subconscious mind, if you can read it each day, visualize that's what you're going to do, visualize the goals you're going to obtain, and make that auto suggestion to program your subconscious mind to be honed in It'd be just like a millionaire mind magnet. Your millionaire mind acts as a magnet and draws that success to you, changes your life, takes you from a person with no abilities and no skills in that area to the best in the industry, just because it's your goal, just because it's your affirmation, your visualization. So believing what you want to obtain, think of what you want to do, and it'll happen in your life. It'll take you from where you are to where you dream of being, is using the principles of affirmation, visualization, auto-suggestion. I hope you can use that story. I hope you can change your life, take you from where you are to that incredible vision. It's not just a matter of goals, it's having a vision of where you're going to be, seeing yourself there, and you'll learn all about it through this Millionaire Mind Magnet program that we've got a webinar series and my Millionaire Mind Magnet book. So thanks for sharing. Let me share that little story with you. It's a little success story of affirmations and visualizations, and I'll forever be grateful to the guy, Dr. William Tanner, who showed me and taught me and helped me understand, who did seminars with me in Australia, and I was able to learn from him in Las Vegas and Los Angeles. And it changed my life. I believe it'll do the same for you, because I believe. My name is Doug McCoy, and I believe in you.